Hi everyone, it's Camille again, and this week I'm going to examine the case of Intel Corporation's dilemma of should they outsource their chip manufacturing to an external company or not. I'm going to analyze some factors to consider as we discuss Intel Corporation's competitive advantage over the chip industry and whether or not they should outsource their chip manufacturing to an external company. This week, we're going to apply the VRIO framework to determine if outsourcing their chip manufacturing would be an appropriate strategy to stay profitable and sustainable. First, when determining if the strategy for outsourcing is valuable, we need to ask the question of if the strategy will increase Intel's revenue and reduce its cost, and compare that to what would happen if Intel did not outsource its chip manufacturing. In this case, outsourcing the chip manufacturing would decrease costs for the manufacturing and overall increase Intel's revenue. If they choose to outsource advanced chip production to the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, for example, or TSMC, they would eliminate sunk costs and overhead during an initial investment of trying to build the right factories and facilities needed to manufacture the advanced parts. The TSMC already has existing production chains, so they're able to make chips more efficiently and sell en masse to the big tech companies. What Intel might lose is their chip design innovation by outsourcing this production external to their company. Next, although Intel likely does have the skills needed to make advanced chips, the time it would take for them to perfect this process makes their skills and highly customizable output almost obsolete. So in terms of imitability, Intel Corporation is behind the industry on this. And the reason is because other competitors have already started to outsource their manufacturing elsewhere due to profitability and efficiency. Intel Corporation would very likely lose its staff of experienced engineers and scientists, but they could potentially reallocate them to different projects internal to the company. Then last, in terms of organization, Intel Corporation would have to abandon their vertically integrated model when outsourcing the production to an external company. And I will discuss further strategies for this on the next slide, but Intel could keep most of its innovation and design in-house and start first by outsourcing only the chip manufacturing component. The bottom line here when we ask the question of long-term sustainability is that Intel Corporation really needs to start outsourcing their chip manufacturing because their current strategy and model, according to the VRIO framework, it just wouldn't be sustainable long-term. Some other considerations to keep in mind in this case, although Intel Corp, they do have a competitive advantage in certain aspects like their highly customizable chips and in-house quality control. Realistically, to stay relevant, they should learn from their competitors because other firms in the microchip industry are already becoming less and less vertically integrated. Some challenges that other firms are able to overcome by outsourcing chip manufacturing to a company like TSMC, for example, is that they have greater avoidance against major production delays, which ultimately provides security and reliability of the product. Because of these reasons, I recommend that Intel should outsource their chip manufacturing. And one thing to consider is that they could start simply with the 7 and 10 nanometer chips first and then evaluate the progress, since that change is where they are struggling with the production delays the most. And lastly, dropping the copy exactly strategy is another avenue to explore, mainly because although the quality of the output is really high, the years that it takes to meticulously streamline this technique means that they just keep falling even more and more behind the innovation curve. I welcome any feedback you may have this week, and I also wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for your responses and feedback to my discussion post last week.